Full. Full.
Like not just one arm.
No.
Full.
I mean,
Full.
more than arms.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
This is the Late Night Motor Club.
The only podcast you care about. I'm Alex.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Tyler. So, did you guys get anything done this weekend? How are those wheels coming along?
I cut some threads off my arms, and that's about the whole update. Oh, my kit got out of paint. That's it.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're
Check the Instagram.
yeah,
It's on there.
Well, it's better than me. I didn't really get much done. I'm just trying to plan out getting my stock golf 3D scan so that way I have the template to base the kit off of.
So still scanning and all
Yeah.
Still
that?
scanning, yeah.
Fun
yeah.
process.
How about you?
Yep, I've been slaving away, just sanding, body work and body work and body work. We're almost done, almost getting ready for rep. However, I did pick up some special parts today. So, yeah.
Special parts.
special parts.
Can't wait to see those.
Yeah, definitely.
So diving into the first topic of the night, we're going to talk about kind of the differences in builds that are in the car community, car industry, kind of going off of kind of attention builds versus, let's say, passion projects or passion builds that are built for you ultimately.
So, Steven, do you want to define what
would you-
attention builds
Yeah.
and what a passion build is for
First of
people?
all,
Break it down.
I think the easiest thing to start out with would be defining a passion build or a true like enthusiast build.
Yeah.
So what would you guys say like a main characteristic of a passion build would be?
So with like a passion build, how I would describe it ultimately is it's something built for you. You're going to do a lot of unique stuff to it that defines what you want to see out of the car. And ultimately you're not building it for other people's, I guess, pleasings. You're doing it to please yourself. You want to build something that you think is cool ultimately, versus putting it out there and just wanting other people to like it.
Yeah. I would actually define a passion build very similarly to what you said, Steven. But one big thing I would say, like a passion built project for me is something that is solely influenced by your own taste. And I'm saying like this is like an accumulation of different things. And it's built not because it's up and coming in the scene or trendy. It's because it's solely based off of what you think is cool. Like
Is that why all my cars have looked exactly the same?
right?
I think that's a good way to put it, where you mentioned trendy.
Yeah.
Where it's like instead of building something that's just trendy that you know people will like because it's trending right now,
Right.
building something that you honestly like and you think is unique to yourself.
I
Yeah.
think passion projects include much more culture than a project built just for attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for the most part, you see a lot more uniqueness in the individual's like personality coming out in that car. Like you look at the car and you're like, yeah, that's definitely Rick's car or
Yeah,
whatever. You know?
Definitely.
Yep.
Except for these Instagram builds or these attention builds or
Social media built.
Very-
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I would say for the attention builds, there's a lot of attention builds that look great. That
Yes,
is just
I
like
mean-
Oh,
that
yeah,
look
not
awesome.
Not knocking them at
But
all.
it's just the matter of the motive behind it, where it's like when I see people purposely putting on these certain wheels or building their car this certain way just to kind of please others in the way where it's like they know that they're going to go viral because they're going to build the car this way.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names, but I know there's some people who are like, I put this on my car, I posted it, it got a bad response, I'm going to take it off and put something else on it.
Oh, I have seen that, and it is the cringiest stuff I've ever seen, and yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, where they're influenced by what other people think should be on
Yeah,
their car.
it's like, bro, if you like it, just do it.
Yeah.
You know how many people thought Kendama was so lame? I
Alex
just
is just trying to validate himself right now.
in the comment section, tell me it's cool, please.
Well, with that, it's a type of thing where you're trying to validate yourself on your build, and ultimately, let's say you release your new build and you put wheels on it or whatever you did to it, and then people don't like it. And then you get down about it, and then you don't like the car anymore, and then you sell it to get another car that's trendy, where it's just like, I've seen that so many times, and it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Because ultimately it's affecting yourself probably mentally, because you're taking all this negativity from others telling you, oh, that car looks horrible, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And you're taking it all personal to yourself instead of just doing what you want to do with your car.
Right, 100%. And I want to say something different about passion builds versus like an attention built thing. I actually know a lot of passion built projects that just like don't have social media whatsoever. And I'm not saying that passion built projects can't, and that you're not allowed to, and that they can't do well, because a lot of them do, especially if they're done really well. But some people, that's how you can really tell, is that they built this just because I like it. And when they see people hate on it on social media, they're like, I don't care. I built this for me, not for you.
What I love seeing, like, let's say out at shows or meets, cars that are not on social media that you've seen for the first time ever.
Oh yeah. It gives you that like first like, new in the car scene feeling.
Like, where did this come from?
I've never seen this before.
It's so weird nowadays, but when you see it, you're like, oh my, wow.
Or it's like you see a car and then let's say the owner's there and you talk to them, and then let's say you follow them and you come onto their page and it's like 400 followers. Like, honestly, I respect that more than somebody with a bunch of followers with like the same level car, because it's like they're not doing it for the attention. Yeah. They're doing it because they genuinely built that car for themselves, and that's what gets them going. Yeah. Not all these likes or followers, or just because the car goes viral.
Definitely.
And I'm going to say real quick exactly what probably some watchers are thinking right now. You guys got some followers. Look, this is my 2 cents on it. If I didn't have a business and I didn't have a passion for photography and filmmaking, I probably would have never got on social media in the way I did. And it's such a fine line between these 2 sides of this thing. I feel like they are so close that it's tricky to talk about, but you kind of know it when you see it almost.
I know exactly what you're talking about, in the sense of like, I feel like a lot of my social media presence has come from my passion about photography and media
and creating
that got paired with cars, because this is something that I love and I care about. And it's a fine line to walk between both of them, because I like to produce things that I think will not just do well, but something that I'm proud to put my name on. And at the same time, it does kind of feel validating when they do well, right? And so it's kind of like, are you building things for social media?
That's what I'm saying with the fine line is like, I mean.
Well, like one thing with myself, like when I first got on Instagram, I created my Instagram right when I put my GT on air suspension for the first time, and it was like I thought it was a build and this and that, and so I created an Instagram and started posting the car. Then I bought a camera, fell in love with photography, started posting up my car with my own photos, and fell in love with creating content and just posting the car ultimately. But based off that, it's something where over time I kept posting what I wanted to post. I built the car how I wanted it to build, or how I wanted it to be built.
And your audience like developed because they liked what you were doing.
Exactly.
It's not that you were building what they wanted to see.
The audience came as time come. It wasn't something where I built something to go viral and then I got an audience based off that. I'm very blessed to have the following I have organically. And I would say I'm very close with the following I have, where it's like I genuinely connect with the people that follow me in the DMs, where they ask questions, this and that, replying to story posts, replying to actual feed posts. And it's something where I try to be as genuine as possible, and that's, in my opinion, what brought my audience to me. It's not something where I did something viral and it came about. Or right now with the whole wide body process, it's definitely gained a lot more attention because I am doing something different. But I'm not doing it because I want to go viral. I'm doing it because I want to create something that hasn't been created for myself.
Right. By doing like all that, I feel like a lot of your audience is so dialed in because a lot of your work is for, let's say, custom compared to some of these other cars that you see that may have the same following or blah, 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 whatever, do the same thing. But it's just some production parts kind of put on the car, which no hate, but it's just different.
Like one rule of thumb that I have with myself is it's where you could build a car to go viral and gain a following off that, but that's not going to last. And that's not what's going to give you personal connections as well. If you build something that is for yourself, you might not see that result right away. But if you're consistent, and consistency is the biggest word with this, if you're consistent with yourself, your style, and what you put out, that'll all come. I can promise you that.
Don't switch up.
Yeah, 100%.
Just stay yourself, be consistent with it. I promise you it will come.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say too about the builds that people do for attention, and when they start getting this social media following and whatnot, you see a lot of these people, like you said, it won't last. They do fall out because they lose the enjoyment of it because they are building it for.
You get burnout way faster.
100%, because I think all of us can agree here. Cars are frustrating.
The most stressful thing ever, but when it's done, it's the best thing ever.
One way I like to put it is it's my stress reliever and my stress giver.
Oh, 100%.
Where I wouldn't be able to live without it, but at the same time, it gives me a lot of stress that it's necessary for me to have.
Now, disclaimer, we're not trying to talk down on anybody. These are just our opinions.
All honesty. Who's to say I'm not building the car for attention? The only person who knows I'm not is me.
Right.
But from an outside perspective, everybody's car could be built for attention. Because you'd be like, I like it. It's cool. It's getting attention, which is not the point, but it
cool.
is. Yeah. And then outside people may look at that and think the exact same things we are, which, I mean, I think is fair. And that's the part of that fine line that's so tricky about it.
Right. And I think the honest question that you would have to ask yourself, and I'm not trying to shape the way that you guys view of us or anything like that, but just a genuine question to you guys sitting here. If you took away your camera, you took away all your stuff, would you still build the car that you're building right now?
Absolutely.
In the same way.
My biggest thing that I've always had a thought experiment about is if you were to isolate somebody, if you were to isolate one of these car enthusiasts and take away no internet access, no contact with any other humans on a daily basis or anything, you live in the middle of nowhere, nobody knows you exist except for you, are you still building that same car to do the thing? Or if your answer is no, you're kind of doing it for validation or the attention, or you just enjoy showing it to others, which I think is not the point. But
right.
One reason why I build the builds I do and whatnot is I like pushing myself. I like pushing my limits in terms of what I could do, what I could learn, and pushing myself in that aspect, because it's something where I genuinely enjoy doing things that I haven't done before, or that benefit me in a way where I could grow off of.
Yeah. And I think that kind of is one of the separations as well, because I think that was well said. And I totally agree with that. And it's when you push yourself to these limits to do things that you've never done before, that you're uncomfortable with, and that at the very end, even though it's stressful during the entire period of doing it, at the very end when you step back and look at it and you're like, this is the sickest thing I've ever done, and you're proud of yourself. I made this.
Exactly. Where, again, with that burnout, I feel like a lot of the attention cars or people who are more interested in the social aspect of the car community, they may not have done that little extra work or push themselves further than they thought they could, resulting in them being less proud of it, or not necessarily it being a difficult thing, so they just naturally care less about it, or they buy something already built, or all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yep. And a perfect example for me, I know this is, maybe it can kind of seem as validation, but a big goal of mine is to build my car this year specifically to be at Young Guns for SEMA. And the whole reason that I want to compete and be at this level is because this level of building things is deemed as quote unquote professional, right? So I want to push myself to the very limits that I can to build this thing in my driveway, garage, whatever, to the best of my ability that I can compete at a quote-unquote professional level. Now, this isn't for clout or anything. It's solely to feel like I did something that was just
good enough for SEMA.
Good enough, yeah.
Well, another thing that people don't realize in terms of building car for SEMA, given that I've been part of the Young Guns as well and going to be doing the same thing, is it's about showcasing what your work can do, showcasing your work, showcasing what you could build, so it could potentially be recognized by people in the industry, gathering connections, and it's business. It's something where you're showcasing yourself, you're showcasing your work, and ultimately it could lead to things that you would never have imagined in your life in terms of opportunity and connections and meeting people.
Right. Absolutely.
And I view the cars and the media thing kind of hand in hand as an extension of myself. I always find it as a way of expression, a way to express myself, which is why I'm so passionate about making things the way that I do and making them to the same extent. And relating that to the builds that everybody kind of does for attention, I feel like you see that where it lacks, and they kind of are here to pump out as many things as they can in a trending fashion, and it lacks the originality sometimes.
Yeah. You don't see the style come through necessarily. Like, literally, I don't know, like, I feel like even down to the stickers, as stupid as that sounds, but, like, the passion builds, like, you can just see the character in it, and something that looks like it's done for attention ultimately, in my opinion, looks boring. And it's not like, I know it's done for attention, therefore it's boring. It's like, I look at it, and I'm like, that car's kind of boring. And then you find out, and you're like, oh, that's because that person's that way, you know?
Like, I want to see color-matched bolts that you can't see when the hood's closed.
Right.
Like, I want to see...
I'm not into it that much. I don't...
But it's...
I want to see no bolts.
Shaved everything.
No, just Bluetooth everything.
Bluetooth.
It's all barely leaned up together.
When we're talking about passion builds and we're talking about builds for attention, I think two things here that, not separating, can get blurred between both sides on passion builds and in builds for attention, and that is being custom and being modified.
Out of the box modified, or going and taking that extra step to get exactly where you want to be and making that part or that modification specifically on your own to pull off that look you're going for, instead of just being like, add a cart and all right, 4 days my car will be sick.
Like, buying a part and putting it onto your car, you're modifying your car. That's where the term modified comes in. You're modifying it past the OEM stock specifications. Custom comes in when you, let's say, you have to buy that part and you're trying to modify your car and put that part on, but it doesn't fit. Now you have to customize that modification
to make it work with
to
your
make it
application.
work. Or let's say there's no part that even is made for that car, like a spoiler for it. There's no spoilers for your car, and you go in and make your own spoiler. You're making a custom part that isn't available on the market for your application or that same design. There might be a design that you don't like and you want to make your own. You're making something custom to kind of fit your needs, fit your application and what you want to do. That's what I would classify as custom. Something, I wouldn't say one-off because you can make multiple of it, but it's something where it's not something that you could just go off and buy off the internet. It's something you have to actually make, something
And
you have to
formulate,
fabricate
like
or modify a pre-existing part to fit whatever you want to put it onto.
Which there's nothing wrong with, like out of the box parts. Or
which I have a bunch of out of the box parts on
we
my
as
car.
well.
Like
Everybody does.
Everybody
you can't
does.
build a car without out of the box parts.
Right.
I mean, okay, if you have an Adam LZ compound and you can build a tube frame from scratch, go for it. But for normal people, I mean, it's, you know,
Everybody does.
Normal.
But I do feel like you can.
hey, how are you? Nice weather we're having. Smooth SpongeBob? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
If you find yourself kind of, I don't know, taking offense to this, maybe it's you. Looking right at you, bro. Don't even leave the comment. Anyways, speaking of attention.
Speaking of attention, let's jump right into our current event. We're going to cover something that you guys are all probably well aware of right now. And
It's Tesla's going to space.
Oh,
but
yeah.
not Elon Musk's Roadster that's in space. It's
Nothing to do with SpaceX.
No,
it's guys launching themselves into space.
Sick.
Yeah. So
Sick.
it's a
On
video that's
residential roads.
it's a video that's pretty much gone viral, if not like definitely viral.
And this will probably be posted about a week after the incident, and you guys, it's probably made the news somewhere. There's got to be people talking about this continually.
No, it's on the news.
Yeah, it's all over already.
Yeah, it's on the news, and it's something where. So what happened is it's a Tesla Model S that is launched off of a very steep kind of street that goes like this over in LA, and they pretty much launched it off.
Well, for the people listening, Steven, what is like this?
Well,
it's a peak. It looks like a ramp.
So pretty much the car went like this.
It's a box jump.
And then the downhill went like this. So the car went like this and then smacked and landed.
Well, everybody listening has no idea what direction.
They probably already saw.
Yeah, you guys already know what we're talking about. The Tesla got rocket launched into the air because they used this downward hill slope and rocket launched their Tesla like a jump.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, let's be honest. Was it entertaining and funny?
Absolutely.
Slightly. Was it absolutely terrible and no one should ever do it again? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Shout out David Dobrik for that idea. That was that was all you, dog.
We're not trying to negatively like cast this onto anybody, but it definitely was popularized by people promoting it on a public space for people kind of to then want to recreate themselves, which we got here. Now, this incident that we're speaking of happened around another popular YouTuber, and we're not saying this person is at fault, but you guys are probably all familiar with Alex Choi. This is happening after a Tesla car meet, if you will.
Yeah. I think Alex Choi put together like a Tesla meetup.
Yeah, a Tesla meetup. I was going to call it like a car meetup, but I don't know if I really want to call it.
It was like a car meetup.
Right. And afterwards, somebody wanted to get their claim to fame and
pretty much said, meet at this spot. I'm going to launch my Tesla or whatever.
Well, it was like unsaid, but everybody there claimed that they didn't know it was going to happen as he stood at the base with his car and then proceed to drive at
very fast speeds, upcoming a hill that
a very jump like
over.
Yeah.
So.
That conveniently had like 30 people recording the jump, even though they didn't know it was going to happen.
Now, why is this topic of attention seeking in this Tesla so relevant, and what does this mean for the car scene? Well, I guess in our opinion, or at least I'll express for myself, the reason why I think this is so negative, not just because the Tesla went in the air, people potentially could get hurt, and it encourages other people to do this. It ruins the car scene, not for Alex Choi, not for these random Tesla owners.
No,
it ruins it for
less.
the people sitting here and probably the people listening and viewing this podcast, because what gets associated by the police, by the media, and by the surrounding community is that they think car events
lead to that.
Lead to this.
That there was a car meet.
Anything cars. Anything that people have interest in cars. It targets the car enthusiasts, the people that have modified cars, where it's creating a bad rep because it's a stunt that happened that was related with a car.
And ironically, a stock Tesla did it, and the people who will be affected will probably be people driving non-electric modified cars. But they're just going to profile us like they always do, and run that whole story as normal.
Right. And so this is the whole thing that we kind of accumulate and relate attention seeking, and that can be seen everywhere, from this meet that Alex Choi hosted all the way into street takeovers and things like that.
Big takeover vibes.
Right.
Yep.
People want that 10 seconds of fame, so they do the donuts in the parking lot. They want to show off what they have, and a lot of times I feel like these people aren't so much even, I'm not going to say not enthusiasts, but they're not heavily,
they're in the car community to put their say in terms of getting attention back, where it's like the guys that rev their cars or do burnouts at meets, they're doing it because they want other people to see them. They wouldn't do that in an open parking lot with nobody around.
Exactly.
They're only doing that because there's people around them that they know that they're going to be like, oh, he's doing a burnout. Oh, look at that. That's the reason why.
How loud was he revving his Tesla?
right.
And it's something where let's say example with this video, and the whole stunt and whatnot, and it's something where Alex he wasn't the driver, he was there, he was filming it, but it's the choice he made where he filmed it and posted it, so that way all his followers, millions of followers, could then see that video, could see that stunt, and then it just blew up from there. I could bet you that if he didn't post it and it didn't blow up, news channels, they wouldn't be posting it as much as it would,
definitely not.
It's something where even Alex got interviewed by a news channel about the whole stunt, and it's something where it wouldn't have blown up. He wouldn't have been targeted as well if he didn't post it.
Right. No. And another thing I want to say about Alex, even though he did say that he doesn't encourage anybody at all to do this ever because it's super dangerous, the thing that this does incite for people who watch this now, watch how viral this went, how much attention this Tesla got, and how much attention these people got for doing this stunt. It encourages some people out here who are like clout chasing or want to try to get their claim to fame, and they're like, what can I do to then top that? Let's do something.
Like, let me one up this.
Yeah, let me one up this. Let me do something equivalently as
like,
dangerous.
let me go to that hill and front flip it now.
Right.
I mean, he almost did.
Yeah.
Watch the video.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a domino effect with it, where it's like we've seen over the years, these viral videos in relation to cars have gone worse and worse and worse, and it's come to this point where it's like, that could have been a lot worse than it would have been. And it's something where they're not doing it on a private property or non-public road, which they said that, it's not on public roads, and like they don't do stunts on public roads.
They say that for like legal disclaimers in front of the YouTube videos.
Yeah,
but
and that's it. But it's like you're around people, like you damaged somebody else's car that was parked on the street. Like, come on,
car people.
Where it's like
stay out of residential areas.
There's right ways to do stunts of that nature, and I would say a good company or brand that does a good job doing that is Hoonigan.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's a prime example of like a car jump that's coordinated, where you pay, you plan, you do everything that's properly done and permitted with the city. So that
permitted with the city, they take extra precautions when planning all that out, so it's safe.
Yeah, right. Ramps built by an engineer.
Instead of doing stuff that's more so reckless, which obviously the reckless stuff that's highly illegal is going to go more viral because people don't see that every day.
Exactly.
But it's the stuff that, do it right. Take the precautions. If you're going to do something like that, don't endanger other people. Don't endanger somebody else's property and then say, "Oh, sucks to suck." Like, don't do something like that, because you're dealing with other people's lives. You don't know what they're dealing with in their lives. I know that Subaru owner who got his car hit. That car's pretty much, I would say, totaled now, and it's something that was his only car. That was his,
originally people thought it was just like a little scratch, but no,
that's what was said in the YouTube video.
Like,
it's just a bumper replacement,
bro. Here's $2,000. It's like, nah, bro. You push that entire car.
When a car comes flying into you at 70 miles per hour and the car's at a standstill, that's damage.
Yeah. And obviously Alex Troy wasn't driving, but at what point do you be like, hey, the guy did want to meet you there because he knew you would film it and put it on your big YouTube channel that circles around all this kind of same type of shit.
Like, it's the type of thing where it's like on a crime level where it's somebody steals something. If somebody else told that person to steal it, they're still in relation to that crime.
Yeah, you're
right.
It's an assist to the crime. Where it's, in this case,
he assisted.
He is
Kobe.
He assisted the views, the virality, I guess you would say,
like,
of it.
It's not like it happened on a live stream. He recorded it, he edited it together, and purposely filmed like intros and outros.
There's 3 videos on his. There's 3 different angle videos on his profile showing the
It's
the
insane.
jump.
It's for someone who's like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. It's so sad. Blah blah blah. So sorry. Oh my god. But you still are using it to benefit yourself and don't give a shit about the residents or the houses that were almost hit. Or what if there was someone's kid in the driveway?
Right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the thing that they wanted to highlight, again, they keep talking about how it's bad, but if they were really trying to spread awareness about how you shouldn't do this, this would definitely been pre and post talked about how this is something that we highly, highly don't suggest that you should not do, and why we can't have meets if people are going to do this. But he didn't really not condone.
He literally said he's a legend in the video.
Like, Alex had a very, very good opportunity to still have content put out regarding this stunt, but
bring awareness
to him, and ultimately it would help his credibility because he has done some things in the past that do not help his credibility in terms of some stunts he's done.
Right.
This would have been a great opportunity for him to, in a way, redeem himself, in my opinion. Even though some of the things are unredeemable, it's something where he had the opportunity to make things right in a way and show people this is not what you do. But instead, he did it because he knew that it could go viral.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of want to take the heat off Alex Choi, because I feel like we're talking about Alex Choi specifically a lot. And I want to relate this back to the attention seeking that people get and how we can get into the street takeover thing and whatnot. And the thing that sucks about these things being so viral is because they do get a lot of attention when people get hit with cars and whatnot. It does incite a lot of people to say, I want to be a part of it. I want to go experience it.
I want to be that car that's in the video that got 3 million views.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love seeing burnouts and people doing donuts in controlled environments.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool seeing a
Or
car
just-
doing burnouts and stuff like that and the smoke clouds. I love that
Even
too.
just
Don't get me wrong.
Relatively away from people.
But it's something where, especially with takeovers, where they're in populated intersections where they stop traffic.
Yeah.
Where, what if there's a dire emergency and an ambulance has to come through?
Not
Right.
even what if. That happens all the time. Like, we see it on the news. These people are like, oh, what was it, like 2 years ago or something? Someone died in the back of an ambulance because a takeover was going on and they couldn't get past the intersection.
And one thing I've seen with takeovers as well, where it's like somebody's doing donuts and then there's like two cars and then one of the car hits the other car, and then the mob of people come and
stomp it out.
start
Yeah.
stomping on
Yeah.
that person's car, pull them out,
And
beat
I
them
just
up,
think-
and it's like, no, that's the name of the game.
Right.
Yeah. Play stupid games, win
With
stupid
prize.
prizes.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. When you
uh,
go, you agreed to sign all of the terms and conditions of
The mob mentality behind
Right.
it as well, where it's like even just passerbyers just trying to drive through the intersection, they
Right.
make their way through. People start vandalizing their car,
Yeah.
like, get out of the way, this and that, and like,
Even people trying to
No.
like stay back. I've
Right.
seen videos of like someone's Porsche got like totaled because they were like 3 rows back, stuck at an intersection or something at a takeover, and then kids just made their way there and they're like, oh, look, a 911.
let's smash it.
I'm gonna do this. Next kid does a little something. Next
like
kid does a little something
yeah.
more, and then it ends up just getting totaled on the spot.
Yep.
It's disgusting. Yeah, it's all this attention-seeking, non-real
and
car people
the
type
tough
shit.
thing behind it is with these takeovers and whatnot, the people that are driving these cars doing donuts, they're like stock Chargers or
Yeah.
stock
Right, and
BRZ. They're stock cars where then, let's say on the police level of things, they're then targeting modified cars.
That's what I was going to say.
Even though they're not the ones there.
Doing
Like,
it.
Exactly,
Some,
because-
some of them are.
Because
Some of them are.
like people like us or people that have modified cars, they're not going to be the ones in the takeovers because they don't want to risk damaging their car. They don't want to.
100%.
They don't want to do any of that nature.
Not
so it's
only
something-
that, some of them have morals. It's crazy.
Right. Exactly. And so that's what I kind of wanted to talk about too, is being the people who are affected by this is not the people doing it.
Yeah, which sucks.
It's the people like you watching at home, the people like
Or like me. Yeah.
sitting here, getting targeted on a Saturday morning, getting pulled over and given tickets just driving
Yeah.
to go wash my car.
And the cops are open about it. It's not like this
Right.
is some sort of conspiracy where they're like, oh, maybe they're coming to get us because of the takeovers. They're like, no, because of the takeovers, we're cracking down on you.
On
And
modified cars. That's
the
the
wrong
statement
people.
exactly.
Yeah.
The statement exactly is because of the takeovers, we're cracking down on modified cars, which is openly admitting to targeting the wrong people.
Yep. But, I mean, that's a whole nother cop debate.
That's a
which-
whole nother debate.
Don't get me started. But, yeah,
Right.
we're not going to talk about that tonight.
But the thing is it all stems from the desire to get attention,
Yeah.
to get the views, to
I
get
mean,
the clout.
If you ask the takeover kids, they'll be like, bro, I just love swinging, dude. Drifting is life, all this stuff. You're not doing anything. That takes zero skill.
You're
The
driving-
first time I did a donut, I did it. Not hard.
Like
Right.
what I respect more for like these guys that want to be drifting, doing burnouts and stuff.
Go drifting.
They're going at, let's say, 2 a.m. to an empty area that is not vacated at all, and it's something where there's nobody around, and they're doing that stuff there because they genuinely enjoy it and they want to get better at it.
Yeah, practice.
Not because they're out showboating.
Yeah, they're not trying to get on everyone's Snapchat story, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, obviously, street drifting or any sort of street racing is illegal, but depending on the way you go about it, it can be safe or safer.
Right.
And,
By-
I mean, definitely safer
By
than
not
what's going on.
endangering the public.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or affecting people who don't want to be around that to not affect their lives as well.
Because what kind of sucks is when you're, again, when this gets put on and you get targeted and quote unquote punished for the things that you enjoy because of people in the community that have ruined it doing an action that's not related to you.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing at like even the local meets. Occasionally there will be a guy who's like, you know what? Time for me to light the tires on this Camaro up. And then it's shut down immediately, ruins everyone's time. Everyone thinks you're a loser. You're not cool. Okay, bye.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm pro arrest all these kids on site. And then that's how you handle the problem. Not pull over people that you, the cop who doesn't know anything about cars, thinks this car looks like something. Maybe it's a takeover person. Let me give him 7 tickets.
Yeah. Definitely not the right way to go about it. And again, relating to like Alex Troy and everything, is I don't think that these activities should be highlighted in a way where they become viral for a popular reason, because I feel like it's getting spread around the media, definitely probably on the news, not to highlight and say, oh, look how cool this is. But a lot of people are sharing it and showing their friends saying, oh, look how far it flew.
Yeah, look how stupid this is.
Yeah.
Like, as a funny way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's not forget Alex Troy also got in trouble, like, 2 years ago for being associated with some crazy takeover stuff. It's all the same attitude, same type of people who do this stuff, and it is really just a bummer because it really ruins everyone else's
like
time who care
when you're
about it.
a YouTuber or influencer at that level and you're relying on things going viral for your way of living,
For your
You're
business.
desperate for
Yeah.
some crazy
like that's
shit.
what's going to pay your debts or pay your bills, and I wouldn't be able to live like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, you might hear that, like what you just said, and be like, yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. That's the name of the game. Nah, that's what you led your career to. That's on you.
Right.
If you get in trouble for this stuff, you deserve it. You're causing serious damage to other people's property, putting people's lives at risk, all that kind of stuff.
And damage to a whole community.
Yeah, I mean, that street gets jumped. That's not the first time. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen multiple videos of like dirt bike guys doing it, which that's kind of almost a different thing. Still definitely dangerous. Public streets, residential, don't do it.
But a
But
Tesla,
a whole car at night with like no anything. It's just
like if that rotated anymore, that would have nose first and then started flipping. down
landed.
the hill.
He landed halfway on the curb, pointing at the house.
Right.
Hit trash cans, which then I guess he steered or hit something or whatever that deflected him back onto the road.
And then
Hit
nailed
the curb
car.
across the street, straight into someone else's car, totaling it. What if that car was slightly to the right and ended up in a
Into the
living
house.
room? Straight
Right.
up,
Yep.
yeah. I don't know. It's a way bigger problem than I think people are making it out to be,
Right.
and it's only going to come back to haunt us.
To haunt us.
It
And
will.
us as a community, you guys watching. So we definitely don't condone that, and we don't.
We've definitely seen the effect since social media has definitely come about more. YouTubers,
dude.
influencers, all that, and we've seen the negative effect that it's having on the community.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it feels like a endless cycle now of like, oh, there's some good months where like cops. I mean, I'm not getting pulled over every day or whatever, but like my homie Dylan, he's gotten pulled over so many times by the same, you know what, cop that is literally
Yep.
like, hey, I see you driving
I
this
know.
again. I'm gonna take your car just
Yeah.
because.
Just because you're driving it.
Yeah, it like.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. But
Because you don't
I'll-
see the American Muscle 60-year-old dudes with like straight headers getting pulled over and being threatened with all the same stuff.
they're
It's
not.
because we're young, driving modified,
Well,
typically imported cars.
Also,
Yeah.
with the older cars, they're not smog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
So,
I
but yeah,
see those
they're
dudes
not
doing
half-
stuff.
Well, also like motorcycles, where it's like you're gonna have a straight pipe street bike or Harley
Well, that's
Hey,
like
that's
for
different.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud pipes
Yeah.
save lives.
Yeah.
for modified cars and whatnot, where it's like you're gonna have a bone stock car, but it has like a performance exhaust, and then you're gonna get hassled by cops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely. With all this talk about the community, it's not all negative, and I think that we kind of want to move into our closing statement or closing segment of this podcast, and that is our highlight section where we highlight people within the community that we think deserve it, or we think they're cool and we mess with them.
Late night callouts.
Late
Yep.
night callouts.
Just some people who want to show love too.
Alex, who?
Am I going first?
Yeah,
Okay.
who do you choose?
So I picked a heater this week.
Who's your heater?
The heaters?
Heaters.
AJ. He has a full full.
Like not just one arm.
No,
Full.
I mean
Full.
more than arms. Yeah, full Tiedemann LS400. It is honestly like one of my favorite builds of all time. It's just immaculate. It is on the ground. He drives it super low. Everything is like measured to a T. I've seen it in person multiple times. Looks just as good in person. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. That car is immaculate. A ton of like custom work, like we were talking about earlier. A ton of like just dedication to driving and making that car function in the way it does. And yes, I said function on a stance car. Sue me. But yeah, it's just stupid hard. Like
Yeah.
every inch of it is immaculate.
The car is super clean. I'm a big fan of it as well.
What about you?
So my call out of the week is Malacca Motorsports. Two guys, part of it, George and Stav, and Audi VW guys. They have some crazy Audi builds. The main build that they're doing right now is a VR6 swapped new RS3. And by VR6 swap, it's just not any normal VR6. It's a big turbo VR6, and the turbo's the size of pretty much my head ultimately.
Yeah, the thing is
insane.
huge.
I believe it's the first in the world for a VR6 turbo RS3. I might be mistaken on that, but it's super cool. They also have some older B5 S4 VR6 turbo builds as well, so they definitely have some cool stuff. Cool guys. They do their fab work themselves in terms of like the manifolds and intake tubes, all that, which they've learned themselves. Also, all the harness wiring work as well. So super cool guys, and then super cool work what they've done with their cars.
A lot of custom work.
A lot of custom work.
So for my call out, I'm picking somebody from Japan. His Instagram handle is at hello Yokohama, and this thing is absolutely sick. It is an S13, and in my opinion, it's a drift build, but very, very VIP-esque. It's super, super low, super clean paint. It's on polished wheels, and it's cambered like crazy. And it's got some OZ wheels.
I like what you did there.
Yeah. And the S13 with the Silvia front end, it's just so clean and like extremely low. Like I think this is a car that definitely Stance Boy Alex over here will
appreciate it.
Really appreciate. Yeah.
A lot of those bigger wheel S13s out there in Japan are just so sick.
Yeah, and I don't know why I just fancy this build so much, because it's like, typically you see an S13 as a drift build, and hardly ever do you ever see people go this hard to the point where it's like it could be classified as like a VIP car, in my opinion, because
it's like a stance build that he just drifts. It's crazy.
It's so cool.
So with that being said,
thank you guys so much for watching and for listening.
This week's episode of Late Night Motor Club. We'll see you guys next week around same time, same place.
stay tuned.
Yep. Follow Alex at
Alex Burley and Dead On. Follow Tyler at
Tyler Cordura.
Follow Steven at
Typical Steven.
Did you have another one?
Nope.
Okay, later.
Peace.